So good afternoon, everyone. And sometimes when we meditate and we sit for a long, long time and we meditate and piti sukha never arises, isn't it? You know what is piti sukha? Piti sukha is the rapture and joy, happiness. I mean, yes, it's peaceful, but we don't have the kind of piti sukha comes out. So one of the reasons why piti sukha doesn't arise because of lack of contentment. We try too hard. We come on, sit down. Okay, I try very hard. Focus on the breath, and then we keep forcing ourselves on the breath because of lack of contentment. We want something. We want to have the result because the one thing, there's the craving is there. We want to go to a very peaceful state. Want to still the mind so quickly, trying very hard. That is and one of the reasons is that we lack of this contentment because we crave something else. They say because of lack of contentment, then actually we should reflect on the first two hindrances. There are 5 hindrances stopping the mind from being still. So especially the first 2 ones, that is the desires, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness, and a doubt. So normally the last one is the most difficult one, the craving. So whenever we crave, we want something, the mind is moving. It's not still. So because happiness is always come before stillness. When we are happy, the mind becomes still. Because we're content, we're happy. They say sometimes we have to develop the quality. They say contentment is the key. They say sometimes it's important that, that we reflect, that how lucky we are, even have the opportunities to listen to the teaching and have the opportunities to even meditate, because sometimes we want to get into the peaceful state so quick. And normally when you crave, you always lead to ill will, isn't it? Because when we can't get what we want, it's always lead to agitation and irritation because we want something, isn't it? The harder we try, the worse we want it. We want to be peaceful. And actually you're away from the goal even further. The harder you try. That's why trying too hard. Because trying too hard is come from the desires, the craving. We want that. We want to be still. We want to be peaceful. We want it. We want to have it so quickly. That's why sometimes it's good that you spend a bit of time, not to rush, into, focus on the breath so quickly. You just spend a little bit of time. Just relax. Try to relax and bring your attention to your body. And just relax and just being with this present moment, establish a present moment. Because sometimes that we always run away from present moment awareness. We want something else, And this moment, we are not happy with this moment. It's not good enough. So we always run away and want something else and always go to the future. And it becomes a habit. So that's why you have to train your mind, not to rush into the breath so quickly and spend a little bit of time to establish your present moment awareness, to stay with this present moment awareness and try to make peace this present moment awareness. I remember when I first, because of the first few years, when I started to practice meditation, I was doing another type of meditation. I'm doing the kind of rising and falling and also observing the 4 elements. So, and when I started to practice anapanasati, the breath meditation, I find that very difficult because I always used to go back to the old habit. And then I try very hard. The harder I try, the worse. I try very hard. I try to force myself, using willpower to focus on the breath. And I find it so difficult because when I do the other meditation, I can sit for 2 hours, 3 hours, I have no problem. But when I start to do this breath meditation, anapanasati, so the most 45 minutes I finish. The 45 minutes is that to the point that I get so agitated and so irritated because I try so hard to force my mind to focus on the breath. I think that I cannot focus because I'm not hard enough, So I try so hard. Then until that I really given up, that I said, no, I'm not going to practice this anymore. So because I find it too hard. Then after, I used to, I know Pandit Sujato a long time ago. They said, no, don't give up. Why not you try metta, Then I do metta. So I don't go to the breath immediately. Sometimes I sit there for half an hour. I just do some loving kindness meditation, just, sending good wishes to myself, I normally just do it to myself, until I feel just relaxed. And sometimes I feel the happiness come, I feel softened. Then only I go to the breath. That's why sometimes it's good that you do a little bit of, a bit of loving kindness towards yourself or towards even your body. All this old, this old body, give, this old body, and is trying so hard, give some metta, loving kindness to the body, and soften your body, and then if your body is too tense, you just give it loving kindness and relax yourself and not to rush into that. And you can reflect that even before the sit. You reflect, that how lucky I am, There's sometimes I used to at the monastery, I used to share merits with that, wishing that like our departed dear ones have a favorable rebirth, where they can hear and practice the Buddha's teaching, where the material needs are easily met, where they have the opportunity of making good karma to support, to support the practice in samsara. So we reflect on that. Sometimes how lucky we are. We must have done a lot of good things, So where we are now is where we have been. Sometimes things will not happen out of nowhere. Sometimes we tend to take it for granted, rather than we appreciate what we got, just happy that, wow, how lucky I am. Wow, how lucky I am. How many people, they're still struggling, don't work so hard, they can't even earn enough to live, let alone they have time to meditate. But we have the time to meditate, we have enough to eat, Sometimes we tend to take it for granted. We always think that we are not good enough, not content. But we reflect on that, how lucky we are, how fortunate we are. So there's help too. You're just happy. Even we have the chance to practice, even we have the chance to sit down and meditate, Wow, how fortunate. And that leads you to contentment. Because the reason why the mind not happy with this moment, because we hear something else is not good enough. We are not content. Lack of contentment. They say it's good to develop this quality to help, to be contented with just is good enough, And they say sometimes the more you want to go into deep meditation, you're away from the goal. Even worse, you're getting further away. And then sometimes people think that maybe I don't try hard enough, so they try hard enough. Actually, you're away, further. Because when you crave, your mind is moving, moving away from focusing on the breath. There's something it's good that we reflect on that to develop this quality. And the fact that we have no happiness because of lack of contentment. So that's why actually this is a happy path. The mind can because the reason why the mind cannot be still, because we are not happy. So that's why happiness is always come first. Happiness comes before the stillness. When we are happy, our mind become really still, because you don't want to go anywhere. Just happy with the breath and just happy to be here and just stay here. When you're content, you don't want anything else, isn't it? This is good enough. I'm happy to be here. The breath is good enough. Just stay. And that's why that sometimes people just sit there for a long, long time. They don't have piti sukha because lack of contentment. They say that we should reflect on these two, the first two hindrances because of the craving and ill will. Normally, craving always gives rise to ill will, isn't it? Whenever we get frustrated, we can't get what we want, always frustrate us. The agitation, irritation is ill will, because I can't get what we want. That's why sometimes it's important sometimes that we check, we investigate why I've been sitting so long, and then it's so difficult, and the piti sukha doesn't arise at all, and why? Because of lack of contentment. That's why contentment is the key to stillness, because your mind is not happy. You are not content. That's why you are not happy. So when you're content, then you're happy. Just so good. It's good enough. That's why something is important that we developed this contentment, and it's a way to a still mind. The mind becomes still, and then you have into a deeper state of mind. You can go into the deep meditation. So today I offer this for your reflection. May this reflection be of benefit to all of you. So now we can start the session. We can meditate now. Just choose a comfortable posture. And just try to relax your body and not to rush into focus or pay attention onto your breath, and just bring your awareness into your body and just relax your body. If there is any tension or tightness in any parts of your body, you just relax. Try to relax your body and give a bit of kindness towards your body. When your body relaxes, your mind started to calm down, and just to reflect that how fortunate we are in this moment to have the opportunity to be here and doing nothing else, just sitting here and content and happy with this moment. And the opportunity to come here, to be with around the other meditators, and just feel happy with this moment, and just a wonderful moment. How wonderful it is. To be here. How fortunate we are to be here, and just so happy to be here. fortunate we are to be here and doing nothing, just sitting here watching the breath. We're just happy to be able to sit here doing nothing and just watching the breath. The fact that we're still alive, we still have our breath, and we appreciate each breath, each in-breath and out-breath. We never know when is our last breath. We make the most of it in this moment while we have it. To be appreciative of every single breath. The fact that we are still breathing. How wonderful it is to be able to breathe and still alive. So there's one question that asks, how can I avoid the mind turns from stillness into contemplation? Just sit and wait and watch. Feels like contemplation. What should I do? That means sometimes your mind is like not happy. Then your mind started. Sometimes some people used to say, "I don't want to think. The thing come to me." Actually, it's not. We are, not happy with this moment. Then the mind, not happy with, and then your mind wanted to think. Sometimes we think that I don't want to think. Actually, we ourselves want to, because the mind activities, thinking is the mind activities. So that's why if we are happy, we are content, with that moment, we are peaceful, But it's because the mind is not, if you are happy, you're just happy with the breath, isn't it? Sometimes even with the beautiful breath, even sometimes the bell gong, you want to be away from the breath, isn't it? You still want to be with the breath because it's so nice. So that's why lack of that happiness, lack of contentment. You're not happy with the breath. If that moment you have, that's why it's so important that to have this joy and happiness arises. When you have that, don't want to go anywhere, isn't it? When you're happy, you want to think of something else, isn't it? Even sometimes when the bell goes, I want to continue to sit. So that's like actually to avoid that, to go into the thinking, the contemplation, because sometimes we can give the excuse that, I want to contemplate. But it's only good that when we finish meditating, yes. When we finish meditating, when we sit down there, after meditating, our mind is very peaceful and calm. Then we have more clarity. Then sometimes it's good we can ponder about it, but not while we are sitting. So while we are sitting, actually, actually it's come from the sense of self, like the mind. You go into that is not really contemplation. That is more like the thinking, like analyzing. Am I this? Am I that? I'm doing this. So that's why it's good to avoid that. The reason why the mind want to think, want to move away from the breath, want to move away from being peaceful, because you are not happy enough. That's why it's so important that the piti, to have the piti sukha. When you're happy, you want to stay, isn't it? You want to be with the breath. You want to go anywhere else. You just want to stay because it's so nice, isn't it? You don't want to go. You don't want to leave, isn't it? This place. If you are happy here, people can't even move you, isn't it? Can't even push you away. You're just happy to be here. So it's just very still. There's like lack of the contentment, lack of happiness, lack of joy. So when you have a joy, lots of joy and happiness, your mind can stay. That's why I said the happiness always comes before the stillness. When you have the joy and happiness, your mind can stay with the breath for a long, long time. So that's why it's good that to develop contentment. That's why it's lack of contentment. So any more questions or comments? No? Any more questions, comments? No? I think everyone is content, happy. No questions, very happy. No complaining. Sometimes the mind complains a lot, isn't it? And sometimes, shut up! Stop! And yeah, so I think, so we have no questions or any comments, and we end today's sessions. So thank you, everyone.